Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture. Today I am going to talk about education and dropout issues among tribal children. Myself, Professor Tattvamasi Palta Singh, Professor in the Department of Sociology, Sambalpur University, Odisha. I will be talking about the status of tribal population in India, education and educational deprivation of the tribal groups, perspectives on education for empowerment, issues of dropout and retention, school-related factors and non-school related factors associated with dropout of the tribal children, promotion of tribal education through different schemes, suggestions, recommendations, and also some concluding remarks. As we know, India is a home to large portion of underprivileged people, and the scheduled tribes are known as one of the most economically marginalized groups in India. With a population of more than 10.2 crores, India has the single largest tribal population in the world. This constitutes about 8.6% of the total population of the country as per census 2011. And education is one of the primary agents of transformation towards development, and education is in fact an input not only for economic development of tribes but also for inner strength of the tribal communities, which help them in meeting the new challenges of life. And education is the single most important means by which individuals and society can improve personal endowments, build capacity levels, overcome barriers, and expand opportunities for a sustained improvement in their well-being. Professor Amartya Sen has rightly pointed out that education as an important parameter for any inclusive growth in the economy, and so education is an important avenue for upgrading the economic and social conditions of the scheduled tribes. So education is in fact an input not only for economic development of tribes but also for inner strength of tribal communities, which helps them in meeting the new challenges of life. However, despite the sincere efforts by the Government of India for the overall development of the scheduled tribes, they are still far behind in almost all the standard parameters of development. They are not able to participate in the process of development as they are not aware of most of the programs and policies made for their upliftment. This is mainly due to the high incidence of illiteracy and very low level of education among the tribal population. Hence, the educational status of the scheduled tribes and the role of governance in this direction are highly essential. Unfortunately, many tribal children do not complete the formal schooling, which hinders their progress to step into secondary and higher education. So in this context, the main objective is to examine the issues of dropout and stagnation lies among the tribal children in India. So before that, it is important to discuss perspectives on education for empowerment of the tribal children. And the subject of education for empowerment may be understood from two different perspectives. The first incorporates social privileges, power, prestige, and influence, while the second incorporates the issues of economic growth and the educational opportunities. Louis Althusser, a French philosopher whose work forms the basis of the hegemonic state reproductive model, this argument lays stress on the overall role of the state in reproducing social inequalities. And he has talked about and analyzed education from a Marxian perspective. He views education as a part of superstructure and argues that education provides ideological support to the rulers. Amartya Sen and Drage has brought out the significance of education in terms of functioning and capability. Functioning refers to what a person does and achieves. Capability, on the other hand, refers to the range of choices and options which a person has in deciding the kind of life he or she wants to lead. Capability, therefore, is the real state of freedom that a person enjoys in choosing from the alternative combinations of functioning. Paulo Freire demonstrates how education can actually bring about a positive change and play a significant role in bringing about an egalitarian social order, and it can also be responsible for empowerment of the tribal population and the marginalized communities. But to enable it to bring about any positive change, we must look beyond the traditional practice of education and attack the oppressive systems inbuilt in this kind of education system. American economists Bowles and Gintis came up with an interesting piece of work titled Schooling in Capitalist America, which led to the growth of a perspective which is now generally known as the economic reproductive model. They argue that in an unequal society based on a capitalist economic order, the role of education is to reproduce the required labor force. The nature of the labor force should be as per the requirement of the capitalist system of production. Schools seeks to reproduce this very socioeconomic order by placing a minority in the place of rich capitalists and a majority as poor proletariats. So these are the different viewpoints how education can bring about the egalitarianism and empowerment among the marginalized communities, including the tribal population of India. So let me just discuss about a brief demographic profile of the tribal population in India. As we know, scheduled tribes are defined in Article 342 of the Constitution of India, and they cover about 8.6% of India's population and 15% of geographical area as per census 2011. Tribal population in rural areas is about 11.3%, and in urban area they constitute about 2.8% of the total population of India. The literacy rate among ST boys is 71.7%, and among girls it is 63.1%, and total they constitute about 63.1%. So let us talk about the dropout issues, which is actually speaking is one of the glaring issues in contemporary scenario. School dropout is of special interest to the policymakers and planners, as education plays a major role in economic growth of a developing country like India. This is also relevant from policy perspective, as ensuring the sustainable growth of a nation depends upon the quality and outcome of education. More enrollments with high retention and reduction in dropout are the major steps for universal access to education and human resource development in Indian context. Investment on education is important for sustainable socioeconomic growth through generation of human capital. The socioeconomic factors influence elementary education across social categories and regions. So let me discuss about some information and data on dropout rates in India. India's literacy rate was 64.84% as per census 2001, which has increased to 74.04% according to the data of 2011 census. This is actually speaking due to the intervention of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and also Right to Education partly. However, out of 20.41 crores children in the age group of 6 to 13 years, an estimated of 60.64 lakh children are out of school. This accounts for 2.97% of the total children in the said age group across all the states and union territories in India. The dropout rate in India was 19.8 and 31.3% for children attending primary section for all social groups and scheduled tribes respectively, as per 2014 MHRD information. So for children attending upper primary schools, the dropout rate was 36.3% for all social groups and it was 48.2% for scheduled tribe children. This information illustrates that the dropout rate is higher among the scheduled tribe children attending in both primary and upper primary schools as compared to all social groups. Universal access and enrollment is given priorities, however, equal weightage is not given to retention. Measuring indicators are not well developed in this area. So, let us discuss why tribal children drop out from school. It is very important to know the reasons for tribal children to drop out from the schools. In order to examine the issues of school dropouts, one needs to analyze it from multiple perspectives. This is because dropping out of a school is a complex issue and any single reason cannot be accountable for children to drop out of schools. So it is a gradual process where children drop out without completing basic education. Studies have identified various academic as well as non-academic reasons for children dropping out of schools. So both school and non-school factors are responsible for tribal children for being dropped out. So what are the school related factors for tribal children dropping out of school? So it is very important to understand the disparities between different social groups and stratification pattern in society, which can make the education system more unequal and children are more prone to drop out. The school related factors which influence dropout including linguistic and cultural issues, poor quality of teaching which leads to lack of interest in learning, lack of committed teachers, inadequate school infrastructure, inadequate implementation of right to education norms, and so on. So what are the linguistic and cultural differences? It is very important to know. Language is seen as an important factor leading to dropout. Large number of children are being taught in the languages that is not their mother tongue. The medium of instruction being the state language formally taught in many schools and become a problem for the children especially belonging to the scheduled tribe families as they do not speak the same language at home. So there is a difference between language spoken in the school and language spoken in the family. So there is actually speaking learning and environment issues, and this also has an impact on quality education. Many children get enrolled to schooling at a later age, especially in rural areas. It has been found that children who are admitted later in schools tend to exhibit poor performance in class, experience alienation and more likely to drop out. The school should build an environment that ensures an enjoyable learning environment for the children. So there is one of the important factors also which is related to lack of committed teachers and absenteeism. The school requires an inclusive classroom where the child with special needs should receive adequate attention. Many such children drop out of schools due to lack of specially trained teachers. In some tribal areas, children face discrimination due to lack of sensitivity among the teachers and they use offensive language sometimes towards the ST children. There are evidences of children facing discrimination even by the fellow students. So school location and infrastructure also are important factors. An inaccessible school location and inadequate school infrastructure are some of the determinants of high dropouts among the scheduled tribe children. The children in some cases have to walk quite a few kilometers to reach the school. Many schools have found to be located in hilly areas or near a water source where it becomes difficult for the children to reach the school. In many states, the schools have been found without basic infrastructure like compound wall, classrooms, blackboards, toilet facilities, and many such related factors. So school infrastructures have also been poor in terms of provision of clean drinking water and even providing toilet facilities. So Right to Education Act was implemented during the year 2009-10 and with good intention to give educational access to children from all categories across the states irrespective of gender, caste and class background. However, the Act has some problems in formation as well as in implementation. Act's no detention policy till the children attend upper primary education is a barrier, especially for the tribal children, to clear the 10th board examination. So many tribal students drop out anticipating the fear of disqualifying the main examination because they have never been detained in the other standards. So there are many non-school related factors. So equally important to know what are the non-school related factors which are responsible for tribal children to drop out from the school. So apart from the academic issues, there are other factors which both directly and indirectly play a major role for irregular attendance or dropout from the schools. The non-school related factors include poverty, parents' education, livelihood issues, cultural practices, child labor and household chores. So, poverty is always considered to be one of the most important factors. Many children from marginalized communities do not find schooling as an enriching experience as most of them cannot even read and write. Many such children come from very poor families. The poverty status of the STs is considered to be one of the major obstacles for retention. They also exhibit lower score in development index with regard to education, health and other socioeconomic developmental parameters. So, parents' education and livelihood issues are also considered to be other important non-school factors which are responsible for the tribal children to drop out from the school. So parents' educational status is found to be an important determinant of the educational attainment of their children. Many studies have found that parents who have low level of education have higher number of non-school going children, and also the children attending schools are more likely to drop out compared to other categories of the children. So the livelihood issues concerning the scheduled tribe communities is a major matter of concern, and they have not gained much from the development projects established in many regions. The irrigation and power projects, industrial projects, mining companies, forest and wildlife projects are continuously relocating tribals and taking away their livelihood. Child labor, household chores and cultural practices are also some of the major non-school factors which are responsible for tribal children dropping out from the school. When both the parents are uneducated and working as laborers, their children also tend to drop out of school and start assisting their families. Parents too have less willingness to send their children to school when their resources are insufficient to bear the cost of schooling. Children of such poor families are considered as an asset, as their work will add on to the family income. Girls' education suffers the most, as they also tend to do a lot of household chores and take care of the younger siblings within the household domain. So some of the cultural festivals are prolonged in tribal areas like Holi and other local festivals. The children are irregular in attending schools even after the festival is over. So it is very important to discuss about the retention issues. How to retain the tribal children? Considering the high economic growth, India is not reflecting the school retention, especially among the weaker sections, at the similar pace. This is more evident at the upper primary stage, which indicates the transition from primary to upper primary level is not smooth, and it is even worse at the secondary stage. So one of the challenges in providing education to tribals is the problem of retention. The dropout rate is one of the negative indicators of poor educational status of the ST children in the state. In order to make education accessible and affordable to tribal children with due importance on quality component, the factors that lead to less retention and more dropouts needs to be explored further. So with a large number of deprived children and lack of resources, education system is facing the continued difficulties in retaining some students and such underprivileged students. Many students have left the schools without acquiring basic education required for skill development. The premature departure causes significant waste of physical as well as human resources. Therefore, in the recent years, dropout has been acknowledged as a major issue within and outside the institutions of education, as it has many other socio-economic implications. But Government of India has introduced several schemes to promote tribal education. Some of these schemes include Vidyadip Yojana. All children who are enrolled in the government schools, it is applicable to them. School health checkup programs to develop the health status of the children. Computer training program at the primary level to educate and make them computer literate. Biometric attendance system. Actually, this helps the children for regular attendance. Even the teachers can be monitored for regular attendance. Doodh Sanjeevani Yojana for giving better nutrition to the children. Midday meal scheme. All the children enrolled in the government schools are getting these benefits of midday meal scheme, including the tribal children. And Vidyalakshmi Bond Yojana. All the girls enrolled in the government school can avail these benefits. Enrollment drive to increase the enrollment of girls in the school. Vidya Sadhana Yojana, which is considered to be the bicycle scheme, and girls from underprivileged background and BPL families can avail this particular scheme and take the benefits. And Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, which is a residential school facilities which is extended to all the underprivileged girls in select districts of India. And Ashram school facilities also extended to all the tribal children, which provides the residential facilities to the underprivileged tribal children. Eklavya Model Residential Schools have been introduced to identify the talented tribal children who can contribute better in the higher studies. In addition to these, free textbooks for standard 1 to standard 8 has also been provided to all the children, and they also include the tribal children. There is a major concern for retention. So many children drop out, and it is a matter of great concern that they should be retained. Owing to some government interventions and implementation of Right to Education Act, the school enrollment rate has considerably increased, especially during the last decade. Universalization of elementary education is still a distant step in many developing countries, including India. The literacy rate has considerably increased over the years, but there is still a mismatch in the enrollment and retention rate in India. So, there are gaps in the schemes for ST educations. Only introducing scheme is not enough. Proper implementation is most important. The allocation of tribal sub-plans are not properly planned. Funds are allocated under different heads of tribal development depending upon funds available at the state level. So priority should be given for tribal development and specified, as these are not clearly reflected in budgetary allocations. And the implementation is too slow sometimes, as has been seen in the underutilization of scanty funds at the disposal of tribal welfare development. So the funds should be properly utilized, meant for the underprivileged tribal children. A more practical approach is also needed to tackle the problem of overall development of tribal community, as the gap between other communities and tribal community persists, and there is a wide gap still remains. The trend of sanctioning ashram schools without scrutinizing the infrastructural amenities and facilities is a serious problem, because there are many tribal ashram schools are located in different parts of the country, but the infrastructure is never been scrutinized or monitored. The proper infrastructure should be extended to the tribal children. Education may not return any immediate economic gain. The tribal parents prefer to engage their children in remunerative work which supplements the family income. In the remote tribal areas, the teacher absenteeism is also a regular phenomenon, and this affects largely the quality of education. This is because of access issues. There is lack of communication and poor coordination between the tribal welfare department and school education department. So there should be some kind of proper communication between different departments working in the same areas. And there are few recommendations I would like to suggest. Intersectoral convergence is very important and essential element for overall development is almost absent. For instance, many of the requirements among the scheduled tribes are interlinked, however the schemes are implemented in isolation. There are many schemes which are implemented having same kind of focus, but they are functioning in isolation. So there should be convergence among these schemes. Awareness of tribal development schemes among the tribal is less or absent due to lack of initiatives from the department representatives at the village level. There are many schemes, as already discussed by me, introduced by Government of India for the benefits of the tribal children. However, due to lack of awareness, they cannot take the benefits of these schemes. There is less or no initiative to reach out to tribals through folk media, literature, pamphlets and cultural activities. There is also the need to provide quality interventions and amenities to students with nutritional food. There is an urgent need to allocate funds towards the provision of quality infrastructure in ashram schools and in the general schools also. Schools with multilingual and bilingual medium of instruction is to be considered and given the priorities. Provision should be made for teachers' quarters in difficult access areas. Transport and escort facilities also should be provided to the tribal children, because many children cannot access the schools because of the communication gap and lack of transport facilities. There is need of computer instructor for all the schools, so that they can also be updated and they can develop the technological knowledge. Multilingual education program is to be introduced in almost all the states, and but however, involvement of the local people in planning and monitoring is extremely important. It is realized that such measureships will not succeed unless the participants are equal partners. Separate interventions should be planned to increase the awareness level of Panchayati Raj institutions representatives and participating families. And involvement of implementing department also is very important. That also should be a gender concern. Government needs to develop a gender framework to ensure that women are equal partners and they should take the benefits from the initiatives. And there should be timely distribution of fellowships, scholarships, textbooks, uniforms, school bags, especially to girls, to avoid the dropouts. The ICDS and Anganwadi schemes for tribal areas should be properly evaluated and shortcomings to be eradicated. So, I would like to conclude that Dropout remains a major factor affecting school retention and entry to higher education, which is more prevalent among the scheduled tribe compared to other social groups. And they remain marginalized because they largely drop out from the schools and they do not complete the formal education system. Due to their underprivileged situation and poor socioeconomic condition, these children need special attention, encouragement, and incentives to continue in the schools. Policies need to be intensified to create a child-friendly learning environment which can motivate them to attend schools regularly and remain there for a better future and for the overall betterment of their lives. Thank you very much.